In this grade 12 English video, we are going to look at the 2025 May-June exam scope for your upcoming paper 1. In this video in particular, we are going to focus on first additional language. If you are interested in having a scope in particular for home language, let me know in the comment section below. But for this scope, what we are going to look at mostly is what you can expect in your question paper. We are also going to look at the proper ways for you to be able to answer those questions, especially questions like a summary. So we're going to go into detail as to how you can complete a perfect summary when you are getting into the examination room, and also how to answer the questions like comprehension questions as well as cartoon and advertisements. And then we are also going to give you some tips with regards to what you need to study and look out for when it comes to language and editing skills. Section A is going to be focused on comprehension. You're going to be comprehending a text in text A and as well as a visual text that you will find in text B. So when we are talking about a comprehension for text A, basically you're going to be given an article or a story. As you can see, this one is about embracing artificial intelligence. Now what you need to pay attention to is that the question that you will be asked will be based on each paragraph. So you will have to move with each paragraph for you to answer those questions, and your answers have to be relevant to what's given to you in that paragraph. You will notice that when you see the questions, they will keep saying to you, refer to paragraph 1, refer to paragraph 2, or refer to line 5 or line 10. The paragraphs are numbered on the left and the lines are numbered on the right. Looking at the questions, you can see that in 1.1 they start to you saying refer to paragraph 1, meaning that the answers to 1.1.1 and 1.1.2 are going to be related to what's happening in paragraph 1. So you can jump straight into answering the questions. You don't have to read the whole article before you can start answering questions. As you see that 1.1 needs you to just know about paragraph 1, you can come to your questions and see that your 1.1 needs you to answer based on paragraph 1. Then go to your article and read paragraph 1 in search of your answers. So you don't have to do the whole thing of having to read your article first before you can start answering your questions. So if you know that you're somebody who struggles with time in the exam especially, you can go straight into looking at your questions and go into the paragraph specifically that you know your questions are referring you to. Then text B is our visual text, meaning that you're going to be given a question based on, it's not necessarily a cartoon, it's a visual, meaning that you're going to be asked a question on a picture that you see. It's a picture that usually tells a story. So if you can see, this one talks about the benefits of reading. So the pictures that you are going to see, it's 4 frames actually in full. You are seeing 2 in the slide. In the next slide you will be seeing the other 2, but basically they're telling you about the benefits of reading from a visual aid instead of telling you in a text. So you can see that it exercises your brain, it is a source of information. So in the next frames you will also see what else those things and then the questions will also come from you being able to interpret this visual aid. So me being able to say that when I see a brain holding a gym tool, that means that it's exercising your brain. When I see it hitting a target, that means that it improves focus and concentration. When I see a light bulb on top of the head, that also means that it gives you new ideas. So you will see that in 1.10 they say identify the suggested benefit of reading shown in visual 1. Like I said, me being able to say that when I look at visual 1, that is that brain that was holding a gym tool, that it means that it's exercising your brain. So you need to be able to look at the visual and be able to understand and relay what the visual is telling you. So it's basically interpreting the visual that you are looking at. Now it could be in cartoon form, it could be a picture of anything that is in real life. It's just you being able to relay what's on the visual. in section B, you will be looking at a summary. A summary is one of those questions that I think can be what's most challenging when it comes to paper 1, because most people think that to summarize it just means that you're shortening the article, but they're not paying attention as to what you are shortening. So as you see in question 2, it says many people do not have time to exercise due to a busy life. However, most people can ensure that they're physically active while doing everyday activities. Read the passage in text C below and list 7 points on how to be more active while doing everyday activities. So this is what you need to summarize. You need 7 bullet points on how to be more active doing everyday activities. These are things that are going to need to be an instruction, straight to the point. Most people don't understand that. They just summarize whatever they want to summarize in the article. So for example, if I'm looking at the first sentence there, it says being physically active is important for one's well-being. No matter how you summarize that, no matter how you put it in your own words, you have not done what the instruction has called you to be. The instruction is asking you to recommend ways a person can be physically active while doing everyday activities. So even if your first bullet point is it's important to be physically active, now that sentence summarizes something that is on the article. We are seeing it in the first sentence. However, it's not telling me how to be physically active doing everyday activities. When you look at the first sentence of the next paragraph that starts with regular walking can make a big difference. Now that's an instruction. When I summarize it, I would say make sure that you engage in regular walking or walk regularly. That is me summarizing and also giving an important point on how to stay active while doing everyday activities. Every day on a daily basis, people walk. Walking can make you stay active, physically active while doing an everyday activity. So these are the things that we are looking for. Walk regularly, walk for 20 minutes, walk your dog, things like that. You are now giving an instruction, and that is actually the key. The key is instruction. So make sure that every single one of the 7 points you give are actually instructions, like saying pace while answering the phone, cycle to work or to school, make sure that you take the stairs instead of taking the elevator. Those things are instructions to the point and they answer our question. Then in section C, you are going to look at the question on language. And in language, the first thing that we do is you're going to look at analyzing an advertisement. As you are seeing here, they're having an advertisement on SANELANE tab. The things that you have to pay attention to is the text on the advert, the visual aid that you are looking at. As a matter of fact, when you're answering a question on an advert, it's called an analyzing of an advert. So you have to analyze literally every aspect of it, the slogan, the taglines, to the logo, to the little R in the trademark, everything that you are seeing there, including the visual aid of how the bottle looks like, how the box looks like. Some products will have different flavors or a range, and you have to be able to talk about all of those things that you are seeing. Because look at 3.1, it's a very good example of how much detail you will need to pay in terms of looking at your advert. In 3.1, they say choose the correct answer to complete the following sentence. The R, that little R that I was telling you about before, next to the word SANELANE tab indicates that this is a trademark. Is it a recorded, renewing, registered, or recovering trademark? So those are the things that you need to be able to pay special attention to. Things that you would think they are small details, you have to be able to pay attention to the small details. And then you will also see that the way they structure the questions, they will pay attention to the questions about the slogan, the questions about the headline, the questions about the logo itself, and the questions about what the product range is. So make sure that you pay attention to all of those things as you go into answering your question. Next, we are looking at a cartoon. Now, when it comes to a cartoon, for some reason, a lot of students struggle with a cartoon. I'm not sure what the problem is. Maybe they take it too serious when it's actually meant to be taken with its humor and it be infused into your question with its humor. A cartoon has to be taken literal, but also be able to identify the figurative cues that are coming at you. So when you are looking at at a cartoon, it's also made easy with your first additional language, because they will ask you the questions frame by frame. You first of all need to understand that what encompasses my frame one. So you will see that with this one, when you look at the full question paper, frame one is looking at literally 2 frames, and then frame 2 is individual and frame 3 is individual. So when they say refer to frame one, they are referring to that whole thing. So in 4.1.1, you will see that the question starts saying to you, refer to frame 2. Even in 4.2 and 4.3, they say refer to frame 4 and refer to frame 5. So you're not just answering without any direction. They are actually giving you a direction as to where is your answer, where does your answer lie. So you just have to go straight into it and pick up the visual cues that you are seeing from there. Now, when it comes to a cartoon, I would suggest that as you study, make sure that you study different kinds of facial expressions, because some of you know what a facial expression is, but you may not know what is the English term for when a person is shocked or when a person is feeling overwhelmed. Just try to study what is the word that we use for this specific facial expression. Your last question is going to be on language and editing skills, and I know that this is where most people struggle with their English, especially if you are not familiar with or you haven't been to school in a long time. This is where it's going to be challenging. So here we are talking about your sentence construction. How well is your sentence construction? So I think if you focused on studying sentence construction, you will be able to get away smooth with question 5, because question 5, it usually looks at the tense and the conjunctions that you need to use to join different words. But if you understand good sentence construction, you will not struggle to see an error in a sentence, because if your sentence constructioning is good and there is a conjunction that is out of place, or there is a way that two sentences are joined in a way that is not proper, you will still be able to see it from looking or studying sentence construction. So as you can see in 5.1.1, they say correct a single error in each of the following sentences. So this is a very common question that you can expect. In A, it says it's the perfect occasion to enjoy the South African sunshine. Looking at that sentence, you have to be able to identify that it is missing an apostrophe, because it's supposed to be it is. And if something is it is and you have abbreviated it to it, there needs to be an apostrophe to show that there is an I that is missing there. So those are the things that you need to be able to identify when you're looking at your sentences. The question papers are linked in the description box below, so use them for practice. Now, if you need one-on-one help with anything that we have covered in this video or this subject in general, we have a visual program that can help you with just that. From anywhere in the country, all you need is an email and a WhatsApp, and we are able to give you personalized help for a monthly fee. This will cover full lesson recordings as well as notes and study materials for any of your subjects that you need personal help with. This will include some of the subjects that are not even covered on this channel. For example, subjects like history. You will soon see our full subject list. We will also cover scopes for those specific subjects as well as attempt past papers together. But what's most important about these virtual sessions is that you get full-time communication, meaning from the hours of 8 o'clock to 4 p.m. you are able to send in your questions. Even if you send them at late, between the hours of 8 and 4 you will get replies to your questions. You will get to go back and forth and get full-time attention on any question that you do have. Even if we have to repeat something over and over again, you get to have that personalized help that is helpful to you. As you can see with some of the examples there, we get to exchange scripts, we get to exchange question papers, and you get to show me what it is that you wrote, and you even get markings for your questions to see how you actually do perform when it comes to a specific question or a specific subject. Grade 10 to grade 12, as well as those who are upgrading and rewriting, those are the full list of subjects that we do offer. If you are interested in any of this, for you to be able to get your price quotation, it is very simple. All you have to do is email me on that email address that you see there. When you do email, make sure that in the subject line you write your name and surname, and then in the body of your email, that's where you will tell me your grade and the subjects that you need help with. It can be one subject or it can be a mixture of subject. Hence, we are saying that you need to email for you to be able to get your price quotation. Now, because this is one-on-one, it means that it puts a limit on the number of people I can take per month. So I'm going to be limiting it to 10 students per month. So make sure that you email to secure your spot. Have YouTube recommend you more of my videos, be sure to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below.